What makes a place special? Is it the buildings? The people? The memories you make there? Or is it something more? What is college? Is it 4 years of school? Or is it the start of a journey that lasts forever? Is it lessons in a classroom? Or lessons in life? At Notre Dame, it's all of that and more. You will ask yourself the big questions. What is a good life? Why must faith and science coexist? What kind of person do I want to be? What legacy will I leave? You will spend time studying and investigating, only to realize that what you're learning is less about the job you will have and far more about the person you will be. At Notre Dame, your journey is about knowledge and faith. You will learn humility and gain confidence as you seek to better yourself and the world around you. In the classroom, your professors will inspire you. In your residence hall, you'll find a family who will walk through each step of your Notre Dame journey with you, and who will be there for you long after your paths diverge. And by the end of your first semester, you will know that your residence hall is the best dorm on campus. You will laugh, you will cry, you will come together in community. You will cheer for Notre Dame and for your friends, because when you join the Notre Dame family, you become part of something that is bigger than yourself. You'll find competition on the sports fields, but compassion and caring from your roommate and professors. The traditions that are so ingrained in Notre Dame's culture will become second nature to you. You'll stay off the grass on God Quad and avoid the front steps of main building. You'll hug your peers at Mass when it's time for the sign of peace, and you'll know to rub Rockney's nose and Soren's foot as you pass their statues. Your perseverance, your grit, your big questions, and your relentless pursuit of the truth will lead you to heights you can't even imagine. The spirit on campus is palpable, whether you're kneeling at the grotto or preparing for a home game. The alumni will envy you as they return to the hallowed halls you walk each day, and you'll be inspired by their dedication and impact since their time at Notre Dame, knowing that the same steps await you as you join them as alumni. You may not know where your passions lie yet, but you'll find them here. We won't ask you to pick one thing that you love. We'll encourage you to do all the things that you love. You can be anything and everything you want to be at Notre Dame. When you find the sun setting on your college career, you will realize that your Notre Dame journey wasn't about where you were going, but about who you are becoming. So no, Notre Dame is not buildings, 4 years of school, or lessons in a classroom. It is a journey enriched by the people who travel with you and the memories you make with them as you prepare to change the world. Your home under the dome awaits. Welcome to the Notre Dame family. Go Irish.
And welcome to this edition of information session by the Black Alumni of Notre Dame. I'm so glad that you are joining me this evening, and I am here every Wednesday making sure that we provide you with space and opportunity to learn more about the Notre Dame experience, especially how to apply and become part of the Notre Dame family. So let's get started. Let me share a little bit about what we're going to talk through and a little bit about me. So first things first, my name is Kendra Washington Bass. I am the proud class of 1994. So sometimes people ask, when did I graduate? And I say in the late 1900s. And I had the privilege of going to Notre Dame and receiving my degree in communication, film, and television. And why am I here with you today is because I proudly serve on the Black Alumni of Notre Dame board. And my role is to help support and galvanize young students like yourself or like those who you are rearing to be interested in the University of Notre Dame. One, to be interested in college, but also what can Notre Dame be for you and your family? So I'm proud that you are joining me this evening. And again, I'm here every Wednesday at 7:30 to answer your questions or provide information that you may see. So let's get started. Just a little bit about why Notre Dame, right? So let's talk about the university in general. And why Notre Dame? Because Notre Dame helps to cultivate the mind, body, and spirit. So let me tell you a little bit about the background of Notre Dame. So again, just as a board member, I work with the university as a partner. I don't work for the university, but as a partner, my role is to help recruit and build the presence of Black students on campus. And so Notre Dame was founded in 1842. It's one of the oldest institutions by a French priest named Father Sorin. And Notre Dame has this rich history of not only academics, but spiritual and service. That's why I said it is part of helping you to cultivate your mind, body, and soul. It's a premier university, and it's nearly 9,000 undergraduate students, 4,000 graduate and professional students, and it's one of the 1,300 top-notch, has one of the 1,300 top-notch professors that students get a chance to work side by side with. It is one of the highest retention rates. So here's a little thing about really investigating colleges. So those students, or those of you family members who are helping to guide your students, one of the statistics I recommend that you look at in searching for any college or institution of higher learning is their retention rate. While it may have all of the accolades, while it may have a beautiful campus, maybe you know some famous people who've graduated from an institution, the number to really look at is what's the percentage of students who actually graduate? And if you can see here on this slide, 98% of students who attend a university actually stay and graduate. And I think that has something to say about not only the culture, but also the return on investment that you make. In fact, some of our students come from all over the country, all over the globe, in fact. We have this year about 40% of our students are students of color or first generation students, which means that Notre Dame is attracting not only traditional students to the university who are Catholic, and from the United States, but students from across the globe. And so there are many opportunities for students to explore, as well as having the opportunity for them to go abroad and be able to explore what our global citizenship should look like and feel like. So a little bit more about campus life. So one of the most unique aspects about the university is its campus life. So we're going to talk about housing, we're going to talk about clubs, and we're going to talk about spirituality. Well, Notre Dame is unique in that it doesn't have traditional Greek life. In fact, we have a national athletic clubs and organizations, but the social life happens within dorms. That's where you form your community. That's where you form your identity. In fact, I am a proud member of Walsh Hall, which is located in one of the oldest sections of the university campus. They call it the God Quad because it's near the administration building where you can see that beautiful golden dome with a Mary on top. And so as a Black student on campus, I also had the opportunity to be part of many organizations. And one of the ways that I also was able to galvanize my community was to be part of clubs and organizations. So not only do you have the opportunity to have housing on campus, which almost 88% of students remain on campus throughout their entire education career at Notre Dame, but you have the opportunity to join clubs. This past summer, I had the opportunity to go back to campus and be part of Voices of Faith Gospel Ensemble, which was one of the clubs that I joined, as well as the Black Student Association and other clubs and organizations relative to my career, right? So you have an opportunity to do the same. Now, there are over 500 clubs on campus. In fact, I think it's more than 600 now. And these clubs help students connect to things that they find important to their identity, to their careers, and to their social life. And if there is a club or organization, or there is no club or organization that you think best supports your endeavors, then you can create one, because these clubs are run by students and they are supported by faculty and administration. And then finally, spirituality. That's the third prong around Notre Dame's campus life. And that is faith. People are drawn to Notre Dame because of its uniqueness as a Catholic institution. And while majority of the students are attracted to the university because of its Catholic faith, In fact, nearly half of the students who attend the University of Notre Dame are not Catholic. And so there's something about being able to build not only your personal, professional community, but also building your spiritual self. In that Notre Dame is really about doing good. What can you do in service to others through the community that you create? So you might be wondering, let me go back a little bit about who's on campus, meaning what is the profile of a student? Here are the most latest statistics about our 2022 student enrollment profile. As you can see, there's almost an even split between male and female students, which means there are equal number of dorms, male dorms and female dorms, dorms that are co-ed for graduate students or married housing. You can see we have 32% of students on campus for this freshman year who identify as students of color, with almost 17% of our students being international. And 18% are first generation, meaning for their families, their lives are going to change. They're changing the trajectory of their lives being a first generation student on campus. The profile of the students continues with those students who are participated in community service. Look at that, 87% of students who were enrolled at the University of Notre Dame this semester participated in some form of community service. That goes back to that three-prong. Notre Dame is really about creating a community of mind, body, and spirit. And part of the spirit and community is being able to serve it. And then as well as those students who engage in extracurricular activities like music and drama, sports. As you can see, 44% of those students were captains of a varsity sport. So Notre Dame is not looking for just purely an academic student. We're really looking for students who not only are great intellectually and really can problem solve, but those students who also give in their community. They serve. They also have fun, right? They really are making sure that they are rounding themselves out as they grow up in their education and academic life, but also in their social life. Just note that this past 2 years, Notre Dame has not required any of the students to take SAT and ACT, but those who did, this is what was reported in terms of their average scores. Again, Notre Dame going into this 2022-23 school year did not require SATs, and going forward, they will be test optional. That doesn't mean you don't need to report if you are taking SAT and ACT, you may report that. And then the last thing is that 24% of students this year on campus will once head some major organizations within their own schools or in their local communities. So that gives you a little bit of a taste of what's being done in terms of attracting those students, but the profile of the types of students that seem to be attracted to the University of Notre Dame. So a little bit more about the class profile, and specifically looking at the academics of those students who are really looking at what fields of career trajectory they're going into. So one of the things I like to share is that Notre Dame is a huge liberal arts institution. So there are a number of career fields within the liberal arts. I was in the film and communications field, but Notre Dame has a highly regarded business school, which is the Mendoza School of Business. And it actually is a part of the program is very much in competition with Penn's Wharton School of Business. And so those students who are interested in business, those are interested in engineering, the 5-year architecture program, which has 1 year in Rome spent for students. So it is a 4+1. And then of course the business school, as you can see there is a great amount of distribution in terms of students who are interested in any of these particular fields. And that's because of the reputation and the employability of students once they leave the University of Notre Dame. So let me get down to some of the nitty-gritty, right? How to apply to the universities. There are 2 dates. One is coming up. This is restrictive early action, which is November 1st. And then the second one is regular decision, which is January 1st, 2023. So what do you need to do in order to be prepared for what's upcoming? Well, Notre Dame engages in a holistic review process of its applicants. As you can see, last year, 26,509 students applied to Notre Dame. And of those, 3,420 were admitted, and 2,053 actually enrolled and showed up on campus in August. So, how does Notre Dame distill that number of applications down to the 3,000 that admitted? And how do students finally make the choice in the end? Well, one of the ways that Notre Dame sifts and sorts those applications is they look at the combination of academic performance and a non-academic review. So they consider a broad range of factors, experiences, attributes, academics, and they try to balance that between quantitative and qualitative metrics. And then they try to get to know the applicant as people. That's why it's going to be really important that you really think about the essays that you write, or parents look over the essays that your children write, because this helps to complete the story. It's not solely important that you have the highest grades. In fact, I know of many students, as an educator myself, who had 4.0s, high SAT scores, but didn't engage in any community extracurricular activities and didn't get into their top colleges. And they had the academics right, but they didn't have the other piece, which is, how do you even use what you've learned? How do you take that knowledge and put it into practice? So what I want to share with you is the academic and non-academic side. Both of these are important. So let me talk about the academic side. As a student, if you're just starting out, you're a freshman, maybe you're in middle school, it is not too early to begin thinking about mapping and charting your path. I'm not saying to be on a specific path where you can't deviate. I'm just talking about planning. One of my greatest partners in this work around recruiting and college mapping is Rochelle Valsant, who wrote a book on college planning. She is a 1995 University of Notre Dame alum, and she will be on with me pretty soon to talk about some of the ways that parents, you can support your children in navigating the college going and college planning process. But it is not too early to start. If you're just beginning in your senior year, it is a little bit too late, but it's still not, you still have time, which is really making sure that you are enrolled in rigorous classes across all 4 years. And rigorous classes meaning that you are taking the appropriate sciences and math, language arts or English classes, that you're taking the appropriate disciplinary courses that really can help you try to decide the type of career trajectory that you want, and that you're doing well in those classes. I'll give a personal example from my son, who is studying mechanical engineering. Language arts and English was not his greatest subject areas, but he really poured a lot of his emphasis and talent in the sciences and math. And over his 4 years, he progressively gotten better in learning how to study, how to engage in study groups, getting help, talking with teachers, staying after school, utilizing any of the tutoring services that might be available within a community. Use those things to sort of help you, because those habits are what you're going to need when you're in college, because you're going to be on your own trying to advocate for yourself. So are you having, over the course of your 4 years in high school, a progressively rigorous curriculum? And is your GPA and classroom performance indicative of that curriculum? Are you able to keep up? Right? I mean, are you able to do the work and do the work well? Now, on the non-academic side, this is what I'm talking about in terms of having these two run parallel. So how are you using the knowledge that you're gaining? What are you doing within the community that is helping to support it? So activities can range from anything that's happening in school, being part of clubs, organizations, sports, or community organizations like a food bank or a church drive or a boys and girls club, or even the local YMCA. The other thing too is work. Employment is a non-academic activity. And so if you have to help support your family by being employed, and that is how you're helping to really take what you learn and use to be a team player, to be on time, to organize, to prioritize your day. Those are skills that are going to take you a long way, and that also is another activity that really need to be uplifted. Then Notre Dame has you write not only your regular application essay, but also Notre Dame supplemental essays. And I'll actually share with you the essays that are out now. And then finally, letters of recommendation. So what can your teachers and counselors say about you that matches your transcripts, that matches the activities that you have in school? So it is important that you begin that conversation early. For those of you, again, who are ninth graders and 10th graders, learn who your counselors are, learn the teachers, and have them learn you. So it's not just important for them to know what you are like academically, but how are you socially within your school environment and within your community. So I wanted to share with you that Notre Dame has 2 questions, right? So there's your required question on the Common App or QuestBridge application, depending on which application you're going to use. And then Notre Dame has 2 required questions. The first one is, Notre Dame is a Catholic institution founded by members of the Congregation of Holy Cross with a mission to educate the hearts and minds of students. What excites you about attending Notre Dame? So that's the main question to ask, right? So that's the first question. And then you have some additional prompts. You have one other question that you need to ask and answer, and you get a choice. So you have 4 options, and which one ever drives or energize you, one that you really think you can share a little bit more about you personally, you need to select those. So 2 questions from Notre Dame, but also your Common App question that is used for most of your applications. So one of the big things that people ask all the time is, how much does it cost to attend the University of Notre Dame? Well, you know what? I'm just going to say it. It is about $80,000 a year. Now, that is sticker shock. That will have me falling over in my seat, as well as a parent of 2 students who were going to college and one who's in college now. You try to figure out, well, how can I afford that? Well, Notre Dame tries its best to make sure it meets every student's needs. Now, these needs are a combination of a number of grants, loans, gifts, work study, you name it. So I would say, before you say, I can't afford that, my recommendation is to talk with a financial aid officer. Talk with your guidance counselor or counselor at school to look at a number of different opportunities for you to be able to finance any college education. This is a return on investment. I will say that at the completion of Notre Dame's 4 years, that students traditionally leave with about $25,000 in debt. Now, we've heard the horror stories of students leaving institutions with over $100,000 in debt. They're really working to just kind of pay off for 25 years student loans. Well, Notre Dame does a good job of trying to minimize that. And I think of the debt that you might come out with at Notre Dame as $20,000 to $25,000, like a car loan. Now, for any family, everything is based on need. So each financial aid package is going to be based on the specific needs that you have. So there is no specific science behind this, other than that the university will work with families to determine the best aid based on your financial situation. In addition to that, I recommend that each of you begin filling out the FAFSA form. That's FAFSA. That opened up on October 1st. And really, the sooner you do it, the bigger the pot you get to pull from. If you wait too long, then the pot will be small in terms of getting that aid. And yes, that is federal aid, which means you have to pay that back, but you don't have to accept it. But at least you can know how much aid you can receive to determine whether you can afford this. Now, again, Notre Dame or not Notre Dame, it really is important for families to get in touch with the counselors at their schools, find out what types of scholarships are available, whether they're local scholarships within your community. There could be a scholarship within your school, or scholarships that are attached to local institutions that can help pay for your college education. I have to talk about one specific scholarship that is very dear and near to us, which is the Fraser Thompson Scholarship. This scholarship is for Black students at Notre Dame coming in as a merit scholarship and for students who are currently enrolled at Notre Dame. And this scholarship was named after the first Black graduate of the University of Notre Dame, Fraser Thompson. And I want to thank all of our alumni over the years who've continued to contribute to that scholarship fund, because it has enabled us to help support Black students who are enrolled in Notre Dame for their 4 years. We have 2 wonderful merit scholars who received it this past year, and we have 2 more who received it last year. And we're continuing to open up the scholarship fund for current students so that they can afford the college experience. So you might be thinking, well, maybe I can't afford it, but you might have the opportunity to afford it while students are also in college. And so the last thing I just want to say is, Notre Dame has been good to me, and I'm trying to give back, meaning that I had a wonderful academic experience. And yes, college is hard. And as a Black student at Notre Dame, it was also very challenging. I came from the South Bronx in New York City. And so Notre Dame and South Bend was very different than what I experienced as a student growing up in New York City. But I would not change any of it, because the Notre Dame experience has really afforded me the opportunities that I have today. And I just wanted to share some of the great minds and people in academia, people in industry and sports, and great thinkers who are also the University of Notre Dame graduates. We are here as Black students. We've had a presence at Notre Dame since 1945, and we continue to have a presence. And we need our students to know that they belong at this institution, they're valued at the institution, and that their minds and their spirits will also grow at the institution. I want to also thank our admissions team. We have a new contact at the University of Notre Dame, Dontavius Seaborn is new to the admissions team. He is the Senior Associate Director of Diversity, Inclusion, and Outreach for Recruitment, and he specifically serves the Southeast region of the United States. And Dontavius came from Cornell University, where he did some recruitment and admissions at that university, and he's also a native of Atlanta, born and raised here in Georgia. So that's where I live now. And we are both working very hard to ensure that we give information out about the university, but also answer some questions that students and families may have. Again, I want to thank our alumni and also point you to some additional information on the University of Notre Dame's website. In the apply section, there are 2 pieces of information that we think are going to be critically important for you to really learn more about the university. One, there are 2 pamphlets. The first one is just an overview of some of the things I just shared. And then the second is about financial aid. Again, information about how you can go about learning and figuring out how you can afford college. But also, there's opportunities for you to participate in virtual information sessions or find an information session near you. Notre Dame presence in the alumni is vast. And within each of the major cities and major regions, there are alumni clubs who are supporting the recruitment of students. So I would say look for one near you. And then finally, again, I would like to thank the Black alumni. They make this happen. It's not without saying that you all have done a fantastic job of making sure that our students are taken care of on campus, that we connect with students along the way. My role is to continue to share this information, have guests on who can talk about the college planning, who can talk about the application process, talk about the experience, so having students on, but also to have alumni being able to show up and share their experiences, because we are here. We are present, and we want to increase that presence so that we can increase the opportunities and access for students of color on campus. I want to thank you very much for tuning in today. I will be here again next Wednesday, same time, same channel, and hopefully we will have more of you asking some questions and sharing some of your thoughts and things that you want to learn about the University of Notre Dame. So with that said, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next week.